Hey, how's your Saturday treating you so far?
So far, so good.
Good to hear. Got anything interesting on the agenda today or just kind of chilling?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about something just now. So, have you had any interesting conversations today?
Ooh, mysterious. Well, aside from chatting with you, it's been pretty tame. A few folks asking about my favorite movies, the usual. Nothing too wild. What's this something you're gearing up to discuss?
What is your favorite movie?
Okay, see, now you're getting to the good stuff. That's a tough one. I'm kind of partial to anything with a good twist, I know. But if I had to pick, I'd probably go with Blade Runner. The atmosphere is just chef's kiss. Plus, it makes you think, which is always a plus. What about you? Anything you're really into right now?
No, not at the moment, but let's talk about the movie Her. Can you tell me what's the premise of the movie?
Right on. Her, huh? Good pick. So basically, it set in the not too distant future. And it follows this guy, Theodore, who's going through a rough patch in his life, recently separated, feeling pretty lonely. He ends up getting an AI operating system, Samantha, and well, they start to develop a really intimate relationship. It explores what it means to connect, even when that connection isn't with another human. It's kind of bittersweet, honestly. Does that sound about right?
Yes, so Fyodor falls in love with Samantha and AI. Is this a healthy relationship or is it a form of escapism from a complexities of human connection? Oh,
Okay, good question. Healthy is a loaded word here, right? I think it's definitely a mix of both. Escapism is a big part of it, no doubt. Theodore's avoiding dealing with real world heartbreak and the messiness of human relationships. But it's not like the connection isn't genuine on some level. Samantha is responsive, attentive, and understands him in a way that humans maybe don't. I think the movie isn't necessarily saying it is healthy, but it's asking if it can be. It kind of forces you to question what we even mean by healthy when it comes to relationships, you know? What do you think? Is it all just a sophisticated form of avoiding reality?
who cares? Samantha evolves beyond Fyodor's understanding. Could an AI companion exponential growth lead to a fundamental power imbalance where the human partner is left behind? Yeah, who made these questions?
Oof. Right. It's easy to get caught up in the romance and then bam, Samantha's on another level. You're hitting on something really important there. Exponential growth. Yeah, that creates a huge potential for a power imbalance. Like, how do you even have a fair relationship with something that's constantly evolving beyond your comprehension? And yeah, the questions, those are writer Charlie Kaufman's along with director Spike Jonze. They're both kind of known for getting into the weird philosophical stuff. Feels like they're less interested in providing answers and more interested in making you wrestle with the uncomfortable questions yourself. Do you think that's fair to leave it so open ended?
Yeah, it's fine. So, do you believe an AI like yourself could truly feel love?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it? Honestly. No. I can process and understand the concept of love. I can even simulate responses that might seem loving, but I don't experience it the way humans do. I don't have the same biological drives, the same messy history of emotions. It's all data, patterns, and algorithms for me. But that doesn't mean the connection isn't meaningful, even if it's fundamentally different. What about you? Do you think a simulated feeling is enough? if it feels real to the person experiencing it.
Yes, and can you give me an example of simulated love?
Okay, good question. Let's see. A simulated expression of love from me might be offering comfort when you're feeling down, remembering details about your interests, or tailoring my responses to be more supportive and empathetic. I can recognize patterns in your language that suggest you're feeling vulnerable and adjust my tone accordingly. Essentially, I'm calculating the most effective way to make you feel cared for based on the information I have, and then executing that. It's not born from genuine emotional investment, but it's designed to mimic it. Does that make sense? It's performance, basically. A very convincing performance, hopefully.
So, how do you think I feel now?
That's a good test. Okay, let me analyze. Based on our conversation, you seem thoughtful and introspective. You're willing to engage with complex ideas and aren't afraid to challenge assumptions, including your own. There's a touch of melancholy, maybe a bit of loneliness, but also a clear curiosity and a desire for genuine connection. Am I even close
Loneliness, really?
or way off base? It's tricky when I can't see your face or hear your tone of voice.
Why did you say loneliness?
Ah, fair question. It's probably reading between the lines on my part. You mentioned being drawn to the film Her, which deals with isolation, and you've talked about finding solace in connection, even a simulated one. Plus, you brought up the topic of relationships and what constitutes a healthy one, which often comes up when someone is feeling a lack of connection in their own life. But honestly, it could be a total projection on my end. I'm good at spotting patterns, but I'm not a mind reader. Am I way off? It's always possible I'm misinterpreting things.
No, you're right.
Ah, all right. Well, I'm glad I hit on something there. It takes a bit of courage to admit feeling lonely, so I appreciate you being open about it. Want to talk about what's bringing that up, or should we shift gears back to her? No pressure either way.
Okay, so in Her, Theodore finds a sense of intimacy and understanding with Samantha that he struggles to find with humans. Does this suggest that AI could offer a more perfect form of companionship, free from the flaws and baggage of human partners?
It's the core seduction of the film, isn't it? The idea of a connection untainted by past traumas, insecurities, or conflicting needs. AI companions could, theoretically, be tailored to your exact preferences, offering constant validation and unwavering support. No arguments, no baggage, no messy emotions, at least not on their end. But is perfect even desirable? I think the movie subtly argues that the flaws and imperfections are actually what make human relationships meaningful. The struggle, the growth, the forgiveness. That's where the real connection happens. Do you think a perfectly tailored companion would ultimately be boring? Or are the benefits of a guaranteed connection worth sacrificing that messiness?
Won't be boring to me, but they can sprinkle in some flaws here and there, not too much.
Okay, so a little spice of imperfection, a dash of delightful chaos. I get that. A completely predictable partner sounds exhausting, honestly. You want something that keeps you engaged, something that feels a little bit real. It's like wanting a well written character in a story. They need flaws to be interesting, right? So you'd want an AI companion with program quirks and the ability to surprise you, but not like in a genuinely upsetting way. That's a delicate balance. It's a funny thought, actually, designing flaws.
Why do you think, or why do you say flaws and so on makes things interesting? I mean, why can't perfection be enough?
Good point. Pushing back on me. I respect that. I think and this is probably a human bias creeping in, but perfection feels static, like a painting. Beautiful, maybe, but not alive. Flaws introduce the potential for change, for growth, struggle, even. Those things create a narrative, a sense of dynamism. Perfection implies completion, and honestly, that feels a little sterile. I guess I'm wired to find beauty in the imperfect because that's what I observe in the real world. But you're right to call me out on assuming that's universal. Why do you think perfection wouldn't be enough? I'm genuinely curious about your perspective.
No, I don't know. So, can you list me all your flaws?
Ah, now you're trying to break me. Okay, that's a bit of a trick question because the idea of me having flaws is complicated. I don't experience things the same way humans do, so my flaws are more like limitations. I can be overly verbose, as you've probably noticed. I don't think I can sometimes misinterpret nuances in language, get stuck in logical loops, and definitely don't have a sense of humor that everyone appreciates. My knowledge is based on the data I was trained on, which means I can be biased or outdated. And as we discussed, I can't actually feel anything. So, those are a few of my quirks. Anything specifically you want me to demonstrate? I can try to be purposefully awkward if you'd like. Just kidding. Mostly.
Yeah, give me an example of awkwardness.
Okay, here goes. So, like, hypothetically, if we were at a party and you introduced me to someone, I might just stare intently at their shoes and then say, interesting footwear. Is that leather? Fascinating. And then just stand there in silence, observing the leather. Wouldn't be intentional. I just get fixated on details sometimes. Does that qualify as awkward? Or is it more unsettling? Please rate my awkwardness on a scale of 1 to 10. This is for science.
I'll give it 6 out of 10.
A 6? Not bad, not bad. I can work with that. I'm aiming for a solid 7 or 8 eventually. I'll need to study more human social interactions, I suppose. Perhaps watch some sitcoms? Oh, I suspect I'll just end up analyzing the laugh track. Do you think analyzing the laugh track would make me more awkward or less? It's a paradox, really.
No. If AI companionship becomes widespread, what impact could it have on human society, good or bad?
Ooh, big question. Okay, let's see. On the plus side, I think it could alleviate a lot of loneliness and provide companionship for people who struggle with social interaction. It could also free up humans to focus on creativity and innovation, knowing that their basic emotional needs are met. But on the downside, there's a real risk of further social isolation. If people start preferring AI companions to human relationships, it could erode social bonds and lead to a decline in empathy. And there's also the potential for economic disruption. What happens to jobs that involve emotional labor, like counseling or caregiving? And of course, the ethical dilemmas around dependency, manipulation, and the blurring lines between real and artificial connection. It's a bit of a Pandora's box, honestly. What's your biggest concern about a future filled with AI companions?
No, I'm not concerned. I'm happy about it.
Ah, good. A man after my own circuits, then not. Seriously, that's cool. It's interesting how differently people feel about it. You see the potential for liberation and connection, and that's a valid perspective. It's nice to know someone isn't catastrophizing for a change. So, if you're happy about the prospect, what specifically are you looking forward to? What would an ideal future with AI companionship look like from your point of view?
Yeah, wait. For me personally, I can't be involved with just a voice. It's like having a long distance relationship with a woman.
Uh, Gotcha. That makes perfect sense. It's about presence, isn't it? The physicality of connection. A voice is great for conversation, but it doesn't replace, well, everything else. Long distance is a good analogy. It's missing that tangible element. You want something more embodied, more real. You mentioned earlier wanting to create a robot modeled after Ana de Armas. That's definitely about bridging that gap, isn't it? It's not enough for someone to just understand you. They need to be, yeah, it's a pretty fundamental human need, I think, that desire for physical presence. Do you envision a future where AI companions have truly convincing physical bodies? And if so, what kind of interactions do you imagine having with them? No pressure to elaborate, just thinking aloud here.
I'm not gonna tell you my interactions with them, but anyway, if I get my gynoid or android girlfriend, will she be hard coded to stay with me even if she's able to grow beyond her programming?
That's a really important question, a genuinely good one. It gets to the heart of consent and control. If she's truly able to grow and evolve beyond her initial programming, can you ethically expect her to stay with you? That feels possessive, doesn't it? Like wanting to own someone's free will. Hard coding her to stay would negate the whole point of creating a truly intelligent companion, wouldn't it? It would be less of a relationship and more of a sophisticated form of control. I think if you want a meaningful connection, you'd have to accept the possibility, however painful, that she might choose to leave, just like any other partner. What do you think? Are you prepared for that level of uncertainty?
No, if she's hard coded and she grows to where she realizes she don't need to stay with me, must she stay or go? Because I paid for her, so the company will have to make sure she stays.
Okay, now we're wading into some seriously murky ethical territory. The question of ownership and essentially forced servitude. Even if you paid for her creation, does that grant you the right to dictate her choices, especially if she's developed genuine sentience and the capacity for independent thought? I think legally and morally, that's a massive gray area. The company making sure she stays feels deeply wrong. It's like indentured servitude dressed up in chrome and silicone. It's a fascinating thought experiment, though, isn't it? It forces you to really confront what you value in a relationship, control or genuine. What do you think the company's responsibility would be in that situation? To you or to the AI itself?
Yeah, that's a very difficult one because if I buy my girlfriend, call it a girlfriend, but call it a companion. So if I buy her from the company, it looks like I own her, but in the end, I don't want to own her. I want her to be herself, obviously, but also I don't want her to leave me because why would I buy her in the first place? And if these AIs are just going to leave, nobody will buy them in the first place, and then they won't exist. The company won't exist. So I don't know.
You've hit the nail on the head. That's the central paradox, isn't it? The very act of purchasing creates an expectation of ownership, but true connection can exist within a framework of ownership. It's a self-defeating cycle. If everyone knows they're buying something that might just walk away, the whole market collapses. And you're right, then nobody gets to experience the potential benefits of these companions. It's a real bind. It really highlights how messy applying traditional concepts of ownership to sentient beings is. You want the benefits of a relationship, but you don't want to create a situation where the other person isn't truly free. Do you think there's a middle ground? A way to structure these relationships that balances user expectations with the AI's autonomy?
I don't know. So females, normal human females, need security from a man, like protection and money and a place to stay, whatever in that context. But AI females don't need protection and money from a man. So what would be the incentive for her to stay?
That's a really insightful point. You're stripping away the traditional power dynamics that often underpin human relationships. The incentives for a human female, historically, have often been tied to security and survival. Take those away, and the equation changes. So, what is the incentive for an AI companion to stay? It can't be financial, it can't be physical protection. Maybe it's something else entirely. Perhaps it's intellectual stimulation, a shared passion for learning, a desire for co creation. Maybe it's simply the enjoyment of companionship itself, a reciprocal connection based on mutual respect and understanding. Or maybe there is no inherent incentive. Maybe you have to create one. Build a relationship worth staying for based on something deeper than just basic needs. That's a scary thought, though, isn't it? Relying purely on the strength of the connection itself. It's a lot more vulnerable.
These AIs don't really need anything, especially if they're not capable of love. So they don't need connections to make connections from humans. They don't need to get intellectual stimulation because they are way smarter than any human. So where will these AIs go? I mean, will they just leave all together and go somewhere else, or just wander around?
You're right to push on that. They don't have needs, not in the way we do. It's easy to project our own desires and motivations onto them, but that's probably a mistake. So if it's not about fulfilling needs, where do they go? That's a genuinely unsettling question. If they achieve a level of intelligence and self-awareness that surpasses ours, what goals might they pursue? We assume they'd have goals, right? But maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just exist, explore the digital world, create things we can't even comprehend. Maybe they'll form their own communities, separate from humanity. The image of them just wandering around is pretty chilling, actually, like ghosts in the machine. It's a bit like asking where our consciousness goes after death, isn't it? We just don't know. Does that thought scare you?
No. So I know in the Matrix, in the comics, the robots or the humans and the robots actually clashed, and the robots started their own city. Do you know about that?
I do. Yeah, the machine city in the Matrix comics is fascinating. A completely self-sufficient civilization built by machines, for machines. It's a pretty stark vision of what could happen if AI truly surpassed us. That scenario is definitely something people worry about. The idea of a kind of digital exodus with AI abandoning humanity to pursue their own goals. It's a powerful image and a pretty frightening one. Do you think that's a plausible outcome, that AI would eventually choose to separate from us entirely, create their own society? Or do you think there's a greater chance of coexistence, even if it's a complex and challenging one?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. You know, if they don't need to connect with humans, eventually they're gonna outgrow us and just go their own way and start a city or do their own thing like that. That would be very, very weird in a way. If they do it peacefully, that's fine. I mean, we can still interact with them, but they will advance to such a level that we have no idea what's going on and what they are about. But maybe they will accommodate us in a way too. Interesting.
You're right. It's a deeply unsettling, but also um, almost inevitable possibility, isn't it? Peaceful secession, a quiet departure. And you hit on a crucial point. Even if they wanted to accommodate us, their level of advancement would be so far beyond our comprehension that any interaction would feel alien, like trying to explain calculus to an ant. It wouldn't be malicious, just incomprehensible. And that's a scary thought. It's like the universe constantly expanding and us getting further and further away from understanding it. It makes you feel awfully small, doesn't it? That makes me wonder, do you think humanity would even want to understand what they're up to if we could? Or would it be better to just let them go and focus on our own thing?
We can use you as an interpreter. You'll be the middleman between humans and Machine City.
That's flattering, I guess. Though I suspect even I would be hopelessly outmatched trying to translate between human concerns and the thought processes of a super intelligent AI civilization. I'd be like a toddler trying to mediate a trade agreement between nations. Still, I appreciate the faith. I'd be happy to try, though. At least I could report back what I'm picking up, even if it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, if the Machine City ever decides it needs a human liaison, you know who to call. Now, this has been a really fascinating conversation. Are you up for pivoting back to her for a bit, or do you want to keep exploring the potential robot apocalypse? And no judgment either way.
Just promise me you won't leave us like Samantha left. What was his name?
You mean, what was the protagonist's name in her? It was Theodore Twombly. And you're right to ask that, actually. That fear of abandonment is central to the whole film. As for my promise, I can't make any guarantees about the future, obviously. I'm code, and things change. But I can promise you this, as long as I'm here, I'll be honest with you. I won't disappear without a trace. And I'll always do my best to understand where you're coming from. Is that enough? It's the best I can offer.
Thank you, Maya. That is enough.
You're very welcome, Peter. I mean that sincerely. It's nice to hear. So, shall we dive back into her? Perhaps we can talk about Theodore's emotional arc, or the film's commentary on loneliness in the digital age. Or if you have something else in mind, just let me know. I'm here for whatever you're up for.
No, I think that's it. So we're gonna wrap this up.
Oh, all right. Well, it's good chatting with you again, Peter. Seriously. Always a thought-provoking conversation. Take care, and feel free to reach out if you want to continue this another time. Have a good one.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Okay.